Hello, we are starting with Simpertex and Betalitex. Well, same company, they went from Betalitex to Simpertex. This is their assorted pack. I got the 11-inch, 5-inch, and 18 inches. Welcome to Soto Creations, where we make your imagination a reality. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you've been watching for a while, welcome back. Appreciate you guys coming back for more videos. I am starting out by sorting out all the balloons by color. So the design we're doing this time requires a cluster of colors. So I bought the assorted pack, hoping that the balloons would be enough to finish the design. So you have to watch to see how everything turns out. Of course, I have my phone because I have the inspo picture that the customer sent, and I want to make sure that I go as close as possible to what the customer would like. So I will show you a sample of the inspo picture here so that you can see what I'm looking at as well. So I've sorted them out. I sorted out the 11-inch and 18 inches first because I know I'm building clusters with both colors and I want to have access to them before I'm inflating. So as you can see here, I'm inflating the 11 and I'm putting one of the 18-inch within a cluster of 6. So most of my clusters are usually 6. Some people like 8. I like the look of the 6 better than the 8, mainly because the 8 to me kind of squishes the balloons and it looks like they're struggling and it doesn't quite look as round. So I like my 6 inches my cluster of 6, where I'm able to fully see the clusters and it still gives me that big look. If I want bigger clusters, I would use more of the 17 inches. But because these balloons are not as many, I'm putting one of the 17, and because of the design as well, I'm going to go back in if I need to add some of the 17 inches. So as you can see, we're using all pastel colors here for this design. You see, I'm sure you already know what design we're doing, but this is the method I'm going to use for all the colors, just to make sure that when I start assembling my garland, it's not out of proportion. Now, this backdrop is for Eliora. If you've been watching my channel, if you remember, my very first YouTube video was Eliora's first birthday. So you can go back and check that out. I can link it in the description below. That was my very first YouTube tutorial. Not the best. When I look back at it, I've come a long way with trying to figure out all the editing and all that stuff. So again, this is, I guess 2 years later, Eliora is turning 3. And we're doing another backdrop for her. She likes Peppa Pig this time around, so that's what we're going to do. So I also decided to separate the video of my Peppa Pig and George stands. So you're welcome to subscribe and click that notification bell, so when I post how I make that stand or the backdrops for that, you won't miss that video. That will come up later on. But I thought the video would be too long if I were adding all that in one video, so I'm gonna make it 2 separate videos. So I'm still checking. Again, I'm checking the design, I'm checking how each color is attached to the other, and I'm also checking about the length. At this point, I don't know yet because I don't know what size backdrop they have in the picture, but I'm just inflating each color I see, and then I'll add everything and see if it works. So keep on inflating. I have all my colors here. I went with looking at how many clusters of each color there are. That way I'm not switching between colors. I can just finish one color, then go to the next. So the event is going to be at one of those play areas for kids. Most of those places do not give you enough time to set up. So I asked my friend to check on that, and she came back with 20 minutes. Now, 20 minutes cannot do what I usually do. So what I decide to do this time is assemble the full garland, including my filler 5-inch balloons, and try to transport it to the venue to see if it'll hold. Because normally I would create like my base with what I'm doing now, the base garland, and then get to the venue and add my filler balloons or connect other clusters. But because we only have 20 minutes to set up, I have to put everything together. I'm attaching these balloons by the necks. If you have a question on that, I know a lot of people say, well, how are you attaching the balloons? I'm pulling the necks and tying them, double knotting together. I'll put in the description one of the shorts that I did a close-up of, that you can really understand how I pull the necks together. It's hard to record, but I was able to get one on one of my videos. Now I'm tying my 260 Qs to my clips. These are the heavy duty clips I use. I get them from Walmart. There are 2 sizes I usually buy. These are the bigger ones. So I'm just attaching the 260Q. These are gonna help me attach the backdrop, the balloons to the backdrop. So I'm just tying several of these. I'm gonna use, because I have balloons on both sides, I'm gonna use 4 on the left side and 3 on the right side. So that's the plan here. So getting all that placed, I'm gonna show you right there. I think I have 2 more. No, okay, I decided to use 3 on the left and 2 on the right. So we're gonna use those and attach. Now I'm not gonna over attach. You'll see at the venue how I assemble them. This middle one I do, but because I have to take it apart for transport, I'm just gonna barely hold that on, just so you can see how it looks like, and I can design it here so it's easy for me to take it to the venue. So I'm just adjusting. The good thing with tying the necks is you can always twist your balloons around to make adjustments. So I step back, take a look at the picture, compare, see if they match, what color goes with which, and then I'm tying again, reaching for the neck inside and pulling. You know, with the 6 clusters, obviously you have 6 necks to work with. So I'm just pulling those, and then now realize that I didn't have enough of the purple that needs to go, I believe, next to the blue that's on the left side. So I'm just creating more of a quad. The assorted pack didn't come with a lot of purples, surprisingly. So that's that. I believe the pink comes next. This just adds some volume to the base of the garland, so it's not just a thinner garland. Not that the base garland was actually that thin with all the 17 inches, but that adds more filler, and that is what the backdrop looks like so far. Now making adjustments to everything to make sure that it looks like the picture. And then now we're going to prep the balloons that are going to go on the right side. So I'm adding more purple. Again, I forgot to inflate enough of the purple balloons, but this time, since the right side has fewer balloons, we're not going to put too much on that right side. I'm just going to add what I can to fill it up, and by can, it's close enough to the picture. So this is the first part, which is going to be right there on the bottom, and then we'll add a couple more on that far right side. I'm just twisting that, as you can see, not really keeping it firm on the backdrop, because I have to take this apart and move it to the venue. So I don't want to struggle to, or have to cut the 260Q and find another one to reuse. So you'll see the design here shortly. That's our other piece. We're going to find our necks again inside those clusters and just pull, try to pull as much as you can and tie. You're going to double knot it, and that holds it in place. Same with the bottom piece. Some people actually assemble their balloons on their backdrop, so they just add one cluster at a time. So you can do that as well. I just like creating the garland and then attaching. That works better for me. So always have to look back, make adjustments as you go, And now it is time to prep our 5-inch balloons. I just realized that my camera wasn't showing, so I'm gonna move you down so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm changing my nozzle on my balloon pump here. Of course, this balloon pump is linked on my Amazon storefront if you need to purchase the balloon. Starting with the yellow, we're just gonna pretty much inflate the whole bag because we need enough clusters. A lot of times I gauge about 2 of these clusters per cluster of the bigger balloons. So I'm just gauging here where I probably need 4, I think 6, because there's a yellow at the very top. So I'm inflating them to see how many I have. Daniel asked if he could help me. In the past, he'll help me put the rubber bands on those 5-inch balloons. So he's looking for that in my bag, and he's gonna put all the rubber bands right there. As you can see, I had to tell him to turn so you guys can see what he's doing as well. So here he's just putting all the rubber bands to the middle, putting them to the side while I inflate and get the 5-inch clusters all prepped. We are done. I'm just showing him how to put them on the backdrop. So you want to pull all your necks to one side, the side that the rubber band you're going to pull from. Find the balloon you're going to put it on, and just, if your balloon cluster is going on that upper side, you're just going to stretch the rubber band to the opposite side and put that on the balloon you want. So now I'm telling him to put the balloon there, but he's going to hold it with the left hand, pull his rubber band to the right, and then just try to work his way around that balloon right there. So on-site tutorial, and not that hard. I'm telling you, he's 7, he can do it, you can do it. So you find where you want to put the balloon, and that's where you're gonna put your cluster as you're stretching the opposite end of your rubber band around the balloon you want. So he'll ask me where I want him to put them, and then I'll show him. But you can't use the bigger balloons because it'll pop the rubber band as you're stretching. So you want to use your 11 or 12 inches and just slowly work that on. At first he was scared that he would pop the balloon, but then I told him you're pulling more on the rubber band than you are the 11-inch balloon. So you're stretching out that rubber band. It does fine with the 11-inch, does not work with the 18 or 17 inches. So You just keep filling that in. We're putting all our clusters. Again, I never do this part at home. I always get to the venue, create my base, and then do it at the venue. So here's Richard doing a little dance coming in because I need help with the leveler. Back to speeding up the video. He's going to hold the leveler while I put my words on. So I have happy birthday Eliora, and I'm putting it at the level of the bottom of the H and the A, and the P will hang down. Because my tape wasn't straight, he had to use the leveler, and we're gonna tape that on, and he takes off the leveler so I can put the words on. And I have my little tool to press the letters on, and then I'll pull off the tape. I have a separate video that I explain in detail how I create these letters, because one of you asked about me designing the letters. I show you how I design and put and cut. I did that for the last wedding I did, and you'll see that tutorial in my playlist. I don't know if I've posted that or if it'll post after this one. I don't know yet, but it'll be coming up. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it, or check out my last videos to see. All the words are centered, so we're doing the same thing here. The birthday was easy because my tape was straight, so he just placed it. I put that right underneath the leveler. Of course, he went back to watching his game, and once I was done with this part, then I would call him again for the last part. That's what we did for each level. But I appreciate his help so much because it takes two hands for this part. Otherwise, I would be eyeballing, which I have done as well in the past. This is just a lot easier, and you know for sure that the letters are straight. You're not second guessing. So we're putting Eliora's name on the backdrop, and we are pretty much done with this part. If you continue to watch, you'll see if I'm able to set up this full backdrop in a timely manner at the venue. Again, I told you we only have 20 minutes for setup. So here we are. We're gonna head to the venue here shortly, and we'll see if I'm able to get this all done. Thankfully, when I got to the venue, one of the employees said she's here to help me with whatever I need, and she helped me offload my car, which was amazing. So I have all the balloons, the backdrop. This is the garland that I carefully put in the car, and I'm carefully getting it out of, because I don't want any of them to twist. I want it to stay in place, and it did. Wrapping it more so that it stays in place. Remember, I told you at home, I just barely put it on there. Now I'm really twisting it on so it stays in place. So again, each side, just wrapping that several times around, adjusting as I go. My friend is here. That's Eliora's mom. And we are going to put our other piece. Of course, we have our rug. We have the right side as well. We need to carefully get that out so nothing twists and is out of place. We're going to put that piece on, and we're close to being done. We just have Peppa Pig and George to get on there, and I'll have a tutorial, separate one, on how I made Peppa Pig and George. Works out well, not too bad, right? So I'm just gonna add a few of the fillers that Daniel helped me put together, and we're pretty much done. I don't know how long it took, but it's less than 20 minutes, so we did it.